What's going on, guys? Sam Adams here, and as I did last year in Christmas week, not many games are coming out, so instead of doing an edition of the drop, we're actually going to be doing the best games of 2015 in my opinion. Of course, these games might be different and vary from person to person, but these are the top 5 games that I think deserve a special tip of the hat, so to speak. And of course, these are going to be in order from 5 to number 1, and number 1 is going to be my game of the year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So first off is Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this one, but I do think that it deserves a special recommendation or a special recognition for how they handled coming out of Advanced Warfare and going into another edition of Call of Duty. And what I mean by this is that whenever Advanced Warfare came out and they implemented that new kind of movement system, it seems like it didn't have anywhere else to go. Like, they had reached the pinnacle of movement, and it was going to be hard for Black Ops 3 to kind of top that and make the game even more fast-paced, or at least keep that same level of action while adding in some kind of, difference to separate it from Advanced Warfare, and they did that perfectly. In Black Ops 3, it has a similar movement system to Advanced Warfare, but it adds some wall running mechanics that are similar to those that are found in Titanfall, and it also adds just a general fluidity to the entire movement system so that it feels like a very solid game, and it's a nice movement system to be able to, maneuver the map in, and it definitely adds a lot to the gunplay of the game itself. So I really think that Treyarch did very well with the new movement in Black Ops 3, and it definitely added to that was already present from Advanced Warfare. Of course, Treyarch always does very well with the campaigns in Call of Duty. They are actually my favorite Call of Duty maker, and they've done well with Black Ops 1, they've done well with Black Ops 2, and I was expecting a lot from Black Ops 3, and it definitely delivered, especially with that gory scene. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a lot of dismemberment at one point in the campaign, and that was definitely something that was interesting to see, so I'm glad that that went well. And of course, zombies, a lot of people are calling this the best zombies experience to date, and I probably put about 5 or 6 hours into zombies, and I kind of see where they're coming from with that. Obviously, I'm not that into zombies, but there are many players that buy the new COD just for the zombies experience, and so it's good to hear that Treyarch is continuing their legacy of having the best zombies experience throughout the entire franchise. And for all of those reasons, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 got my number 5 on the top 5 games of 2015. Next up, Just Cause 3 is coming in at number 4 on my top 5s list, and a lot of people are going to say why, because the campaign is not that great, and it never really is in a Just Cause game, but pretty much the premise of the campaign is that you play as the same guy from Just Cause 2 who has come home, and surprise, surprise, there's another dictator who looks strikingly similar to the one that was in Just Cause 2, except more Panamanian almost, and it pretty much has the exact same storyline, and you just have to go back and do everything over again. But of course, there are little side missions and stuff that do hold interest, but where this game really is appealing is through just wandering around and blowing stuff up. And of course, the grappling hook can tether things to one another, so you can tether, for instance, a person to a car, a cow to a car, a cow to a fuel tank, a person to a fuel tank. There are so many GIFs online that it has pretty much filled up my Reddit page on multiple occasions, but that is where the game really shines. It's just the explosions, the amount of exploring that you can do, just the amount of stuff that you can do within the game. It's the definition of kind of a, paint your own world, open world sandbox. It's just such an interesting game, and it has hours upon hours of entertaining gameplay, and just explore the game if you do buy it. That is where the value is in Just Cause 3, and that's why it earned its number 4 spot on my top 5 games of 2015. Number 3 is actually Mad Max, which was kind of surprising for me. I wasn't expecting a ton from this game because I think, like a lot of people, I was expecting a game that was more of a movie tie-in than a separate experience, but it kind of defied that for me, and I thought that that was really cool. It definitely does a lot of, connection with the movie, but there's not too much so that you could go in expecting to have a fresh Mad Max experience and definitely get that. My one complaint with the game is that the story feels loosely, kind of centered around upgrading your car and leveling it up. It's almost like kind of disguising the leveling system, but that is totally okay because the story does very well in doing that. You pretty much just follow around this little hunchback dude that has a lot of car parts, and you kind of rebuild your car after it was kind of torn apart, so to speak, and it's a really compelling story that keeps you coming back. But where Mad Max really shines is in just exploring the world of Mad Max itself, because you can go around destroying settlements, you can go around exploring settlements. The combat system is kind of Arkham style, but it's more so just a quick time event, more or less. But it definitely does keep your attention, and it's compelling enough to keep you coming back, and you don't get bored with it too easily. But the car combat in Mad Max is obviously where the game should shine and where it does shine, because Mad Max is all about the vehicles, all about the destruction, and it definitely succeeds on that level because you can harpoon different cars, you can take out the tires of different cars, there are many slow motion scenes, and it's just a really beautiful game. And if you're a fan of Mad Max or you've never heard of it, it's a game that you just kind of enjoy, and it's a destruction, testosterone filled, almost a steampunk kind of game. And that's why it earns its spot at number 3 on my top 5 games. Number 2 on my list is actually Batman Arkham Knight, and if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know that I was a huge fan of Arkham Knight when it first came out earlier this kind of early summer-ish, and it's a great entry into the game, and it's unfortunately supposed to be Rocksteady's last entry into the Batman Arkham franchise, but what a game to go out on. I'm not going to go too deeply into the story, but it kind of puts a twist on something you kind of expect, but you don't really expect. It's a great story. I would recommend probably playing Arkham City is the only one you really need to play before jumping into Arkham Knight. But the Batmobile gameplay, it is heavy with Batmobile gameplay, but it's really good gameplay at that. The Batmobile feels very fluid. It feels like there's a lot of options for how you can attack tanks as well as civilians, and there's even a attack where you actually launch out of the Batmobile and land on an enemy, which is really cool and an interesting way to enter combat. But as far as combat goes itself, like hand to hand, it's pretty much what you would expect from a Rocksteady Batman game, but at the same time there are a ton of utilities that you can use from your belt that kind of allow you to switch up the gameplay and attack an objective in any really way that you want, and it does allow for a lot of creativity on that level. The amount of stuff to do in this game is almost mind-boggling. Like, after you finish the game, you can go after all of the Riddler trophies, which are absolutely ridiculous. No one could ever do that. I'm sure someone already has. But there are tons of side missions you can do. There are different kinds of DLC packs that you can download and whatnot. So there is a ton of content for this game, and if you're a fan of Batman, I have to say it's a must-have if you own a next-generation console, and the rest of the Batman Arkham franchise is great in and of itself. But as far as a game to go out on, and as far as a legacy to leave for the Arkham franchise, this was a good one, and that's why it deserves its number 2 spot on my top 5 games of 2015. And last but not least, my game of the year for 2015 is actually going to be Rocket League, and it is a game that keeps me coming back from month to month, week to week, even sometimes day to day if I have the time. I played last night, I played this morning. I've really been on a Rocket League kick the past couple of days. But what I love about Rocket League is how much the developer supports the game. There are new modes introduced on probably, I would guess, either a bi-weekly basis or even a monthly basis. There is a ton of seasonal content out. I know there's reindeer antlers right now, there's a Santa hat, there's a Christmas tree topper, there's even some Game Awards stuff. There are community flags that you can put on your antenna, including one for Kind of Funny Games. There's one for Gassy Mexican, who's a streamer on Twitch. There's just a ton of content and a ton of fan service included in Rocket League that makes it so much fun to play. I can't get over it. The arenas that they've introduced are beautiful. The sound design is great. The physics engine is right on point to where it makes the game so much fun to play, and the ball reacts like you would expect. And of course, the seasonal game modes and the unique game modes that they introduce are always really fun. Right now, there's actually a hockey one that you can play because it is, in the middle of December, so in most parts of the world, except for the majority of the United States, they are getting, ice and snow, and hockey is a pretty big winter event. And so they do have that in Rocket League, so it replaces the ball with a hockey puck. That's insanely fun. There's a giant ball mode that was on last week that was extremely fun. There's low gravity. So many different options for the ways to play. So many different trophies to earn. And of course, it was free on PlayStation Plus in July, so that's why a lot of people have it. But it's totally worth that $20 price tag, and I'm sure it'll be on sale sometime during the holidays, either on Steam, on PlayStation Network, and of course, it's coming to Xbox Live in early February, so whenever you get a chance to get it on Xbox One, if you don't have a PlayStation 4, if you don't have a PC, please pick up Rocket League because it is my game of the year for 2015. So there you guys have it. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, drop me a like and tell me what your top 5 games of 2015 are. Do you agree with my list? Do you think my list is total crap? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And if you are new to the channel or you've never seen any of my other content, I do upload new stuff like 3 or 4 days a week depending on the week. So there's always something new right here on the channel when you drop by to watch some videos. And be sure to come back Wednesday because we will be talking about the most abysmal, terrible, abhorrent, other terrible adjective games of 2015 on that day. So without further ado, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. Hope to see you back here on Wednesday. Peace.